Find the slope-intercept form of the equation of the line passing through these 2 points. First off, the slope-intercept form is the y equals mx plus b format, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. When we're just given 2 points, we need to start by figuring out our slope, which we'll call that m, and we can relabel the coordinates x1, y1 for the first point and x2, y2 for the second point. So our slope formula, we're thinking about rise over run, and so the rise is going to be the change in the vertical direction, so we're going to subtract the y coordinates. The run is the change in the horizontal direction, so we're subtracting the x coordinates. So I'm going to plug these in. From the second point, I'll get my y2, so that's 2 minus y1, which is 4. And then we have x2 minus x1, which is negative 7. So we want to be really careful with all of our subtraction here, so making sure that we're bringing down our subtraction sign, but if it happens to be negative, we'll end up subtracting a negative, which is the same thing as just adding a positive. So altogether, 2 minus 4 for our numerator, 1 plus 7 for our denominator. Our slope is negative 1/4. Okay, so finding the slope-intercept form. Here's what we know so far. We know that our slope is negative 1/4, so I'm going to put that in the formula in place of m, but we still need to figure out what the y-intercept is. And so what we can do here is plug in either one of these points in for x and y to figure out what the y-intercept is. And actually, you'll get the exact same answer no matter if you choose the first point to plug in or if you choose the second point to plug in. So I might actually just use the second point because there's no negatives to deal with. We'll see what happens here. So if I choose this point, I'm going to plug in 2 for y, and I'm going to plug in 1 for x. And notice how now we've turned it into an equation that just has one variable, b, which is the y-intercept, which we'll be able to solve for. So we get negative 1/4 plus b. In order to get b by itself, we would have to add 1/4 to both sides. So our value for b, which is the y-intercept, is 2 and 1/4, or as an improper fraction, that would be 9/4. So we can put these pieces back together. Our slope is negative 1/4. We already know. Our y-intercept, I'm just going to keep it as an improper fraction, 9/4. And that will be our final answer for the slope-intercept form.